The views on this program do not reflect those of ONTV or its board of directors. Welcome to Oaa Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to Oaa Now. I'm Sammy Taramina, blog of the Dragons Insider, blog of Inside the OAA, and one of the hosts between Taminas on Orion Neighborhood Television. I'd like to welcome our friends watching on Orion Neighborhood Television and also those hearing us on the local voice on SoundCloud. I got Ian back here this week.
I'm back.
Yes, you are. We got a lot to talk about.
But how was the solo skit?
It was good, actually.
The
solo skit was pretty good. Of course, yours truly got to announce the Lake Orion Olympia Hills girls volleyball match on Wednesday.
You had a busy vocal week last week, didn't you?
Oh, I did. I really did.
Well, thank you for sitting in and doing that, and we're going to hear more from you as the season rolls along.
Well, we got a lot to talk about this week.
Yes.
Big basketball situation out of the OAA territory, but does have an impact on the OAA a little bit. And, of course, we got a lot of football to talk about as well, considering that we have had some teams clinch playoff spots, and some of them are right near there. So let's talk about our big story. And a lot of people in the news have talked about this story. It's a situation at Detroit Renaissance.
All right, hit me, dude. Tell me. What's going on?
I'm surprised you haven't heard about this.
I was out of town. That's why you were solo.
Yes.
I'm trying to catch up.
Well, Detroit Renaissance is one of the top teams in the state this year for boys basketball.
Okay.
They have 3 caliber players who are back for them. Carlton McCaskill is a Florida Atlantic commit.
Oh.
Chandler Turner is another one getting D1 looks,
yeah.
And then they got another one.
Wow.
So
what's the problem?
Here's the problem. Their head coach is Vito Jordan. And Jordan was going to meet the new principal, Verena Strager. Of course, she was a former assistant principal at Birmingham Seaholm.
Okay.
She was named principal at Detroit Renaissance. So she did an evaluation.
Which is common,
Which
right?
is very common.
Happens all the time.
Yep. And she said that there were bad things in the program. You know, bad things involving the program. So She said a change was needed. So she fired Vito Jordan. And she opened the job up, and allegedly the job went to Mark White. Now, there was rumors that Mark White and Strager had a romantic relationship.
Uh-oh.
And
that never, man.
White coaches at River Rouge.
Okay.
And he accepted the job, but then later backed out. So we just heard 24 hours ago that he was fired from River Rouge. He just got fired.
Oh my.
So this
it's like a soap opera down there.
This decision by Strager has cost the jobs of 2 coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan has filed a lawsuit against her and Detroit Public Schools Community District, including its president.
What, wrongful termination?
Wrongful termination. Wants to get his job back. Issue an injunction against DPS and Strager from interviewing other candidates and for $500,000.
Whoa.
So now it gets really interesting because there's the transfer deadline is coming up on Wednesday, which means that because Wednesday is student account day.
Yes, which we can't overstate how important that is to school districts, especially in Detroit.
Yeah, especially there. And
if you guys don't know, student count day is where
you get
that is the lock-in of how many students are there and enrolled, and that's determines your funding from the state.
Yes, it does. So the transfer there was a rumor that 8 players could transfer out if Jordan was not the coach. 8.
Are we back at this again, Sam?
So I think
transfers again.
We're getting closer.
8.
But according to the Detroit News article, 2 of their players decided to stay are likely going to stay at Detroit Renaissance. However, their top player in the state, Carlton McCaskill, said he would not play for the new coach unless it's Jordan.
Well, I'll say one thing. students should not dictate who the coach is going to be. I don't think that's fair at all. I don't think that's an expectation. I don't think they should have a say. I'm sorry.
So now we have a news story from WDIV. Now, WDIV has done a really good job at keeping an eye on this story, along with the Detroit News and Detroit Free Press. Here's what they had to say.
Yep, this is a video clip from Click on Detroit, courtesy
that's
of
WDIV.
WDIV, Channel 4 in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
We want our coach back. That's the cry from students and parents from One Westside High School in Detroit.
School principal removed the varsity basketball coach, suddenly leaving many to question why. Let's bring in Jermont Terry live at Renaissance High with reaction from both sides. Jermont?
Devin, to simply put it, the new principal wanted change, but her decision to get rid of this highly popular basketball coach isn't sitting well with parents and players who tonight just simply want a clear reason why. Carrington, Jawan, and Keelan all attend Renaissance High, and all three can't believe their varsity basketball coach isn't returning.
I've been here since freshman year and built a strong relationship with them.
These student athletes say the new principal did not take the bond the players have with Coach Vito Jordan into consideration.
Vito mentored me when we went on college tours.
If I needed to talk to him about something other than basketball or football, academically, he'll help me with that.
One of the first order of business by the new principal, remove Coach Jordan.
I'm around those kids more than I'm around my own family. So.
Coach Jordan was more concerned by the principal's reasoning for his firing.
I didn't accept it because she said she's heard bad things about me, which could be detrimental to my character and my conduct, which I've never done anything to be in trouble or put myself as a black male to be under any scrutiny.
A DPSCD spokesperson says coaches are not under a binding contract and added, during her review of the boys' varsity basketball program, the principal determined in her discretion to make a change in coaching staff to reach the next level of excellence. There was nothing improper, illegal, or unusual with this decision. School-level principals have the discretion to make coaching changes.
I think there's other issues that should be our primary focus.
But with the team ranked and predicted to win state, even parents feel one thing was overlooked.
That's crazy.
The people that are most affected by this are forgotten, and that's the students, the student athletes.
And tonight, that coaching position is still vacant. Coach Jordan has reapplied for his job, and parents feel as if a decision or an announcement isn't made by the October 3rd count day, those athletes who are seeking scholarships from colleges, they won't have the ability to potentially transfer to a new school and also play sports. So this is why it's so important to these parents and these players to find out who their next coach will be. Reporting live, I'm Jermont Terry, Local 4.
All right, wow.
It's a mess down there. It is an absolute mess down there.
Yeah.
I mean,
the thing, though, and we don't have any evidence or anything. You know, we haven't seen any legal documents to defend the guy who was let go.
no.
Right? But it's unless you have something solid, usually is the case. But isn't it to the discretion, right? I mean, it says it. We've seen it before where they can just come in and say, "See you later." They don't sign long terms. They don't sign long term contracts.
Principals
and stuff.
have that discretion,
Right?
but I want to hear from her. I want to hear from Strogner. What type of evidence did she find?
Yeah.
That gave Jordan. That gave Jordan a negative review.
Well, and usually you get to see your review,
Yes, you do.
right? If you see your review, you have it, and you just lay it out. I've done a million of them.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you share the evidence with the person who's being reviewed, and you sit and talk about it, and you decide if you're going to part
But
ways or
now,
not.
this opens the question of transparency on her part. Because if she said that there's some bad things going around with the program, what are the bad things? What did she find out?
Well, in schools, and I just know that sometimes confidentiality is at play.
It is.
A lot of the times. You know, you've been around schools enough, Sam. I've worked for a school district before, and a lot of it might be sealed, or, it's hard for me to, but it could be the case, but it's hard for me to see an instance where the two of them didn't get together. She didn't present information openly. She just said, yeah, no, see ya. Or they didn't meet up at all and just gave him a letter of, you're out,
Now this is going to be going to federal court, and she's going to have to show up.
Yes.
And
they'll have to open and show.
they're going to have to open and show what happened here.
Or they settle out of court and just say, go away and don't.
Or
That's
they
a possibility,
settle out.
too.
It's a possibility, but I don't see that happening here because here's why I don't see it. Because he wants his job back.
Yes.
He wants to coach that team. Now you have a situation where she has basically completely destroyed this basketball program. Now, can it be saved? Absolutely. But when you look at Detroit Renaissance now, whoever gets that job over there, it's a toxic situation.
To say the least.
Because
there's no assistant coach over there that can take over, so there's familiarity.
I mean, they can't even have open gyms over there.
Because the coach isn't set.
I mean, it's big time problems over there.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It is big problems over there. So now here's the OA perspective.
Yeah.
Besides Strogner, when you look at the district that Detroit Renaissance is in, you got Oak Park, you got Southfield in there. I think.
Does that open it up?
I think. I think they were one of the favorites heading into that district.
Yes.
Now with this whole mess at Detroit Renaissance, this opens the door for Oak Park to possibly say, "Hey, let's make a run at this." Now you got Detroit University, Detroit Jesuits in there. And you got Southfield, who could be a wild card team. But I think when you look at the mess at Detroit Renaissance, I think this benefits Oak Park because of who Oak Park has back. And to my knowledge, there's no issue with Bobby Thompson over there. But I think, Oak Park has a great opportunity here, to do some damage.
Yeah, to split a team up of that caliber.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we haven't seen it yet. Like they said, transfer days on October 3rd, which today is the 2nd at the recording of this.
Mm-hmm.
That we'll know more next week, obviously. But, boy, they could hang together or they could be scattered to the 4 winds, that team, right?
Yeah.
And where would they go? And you start picking around. I said, the whole transfer thing was a mystery to me until I started sitting across the table from you, Sam.
Yeah.
And you'd teach me all this stuff, and we're learning about, just a headache. Where would they go? Other coaches going to come calling and say, "Hey, come play for us." Openly recruit.
Well, there is other options. I mean, you can go to a prep school. You can go. I mean, because
if you can do prep school, do you play right away? Does it matter if it's out of state?
I don't.
Depending on the rules.
It's up to the state. It's up to the other state if they go to a prep school. Now I know if you transfer out, you have to sit out a semester, and the new transfer rule kicks in next year
for the MHSA.
For the MHA,
yeah,
they kick in next year.
That'll be fun to watch too.
When I look at, and Detroit Renaissance could say, "Hey, I have a kid here who's transferring out for athletic reasons. They could use the Thomas Kithier route." Remember that?
How did that work out, though?
Macomb, Dakota said the transfer was for athletic reasons, and he had to sit out the whole year.
Yes. So Renaissance, they could lodge a protest and keep them together.
And keep them together. Well, and keep them together, or
they choose to sit out that year.
But the whole year.
But that, you just heard from the interview and some of the parents talking, going, you got colleges and looking at them, and at this point, if you're going to be going to,
as a Florida senior, Atlantic commit.
Yeah, and if others are looking at you, they're not going to stop looking at you.
No.
I mean, we know that. Sometimes that can be exaggerated. Oh, the coach isn't here. I'm not going to be recruited anymore. If you're a talent, they'll find you.
They'll find you.
Right?
They'll find you. That's what I've always.
Yeah, but that's
colleges will come.
They'll find you. I mean,
they'll find you.
Believe me, if you're that good, they'll find you.
I mean, yeah, they will find you. It's like, the athlete doesn't have to go to the college, show them their stuff,
Yeah.
And I think, the college will come looking for you.
Correct.
And
But that's that's an interesting curveball you threw in there that they, like Kithier, the AD athletic department at Renaissance saying, we protest.
It was at Macomb, Dakota at the time.
I know, but I'm saying if that happens at Renaissance, I wasn't even thinking in those terms. I go, they do that, you could keep the team together.
But here's the thing, though.
Boy, that would be a
thing. I mean, the issue is if the player transfers out, he's going to have to sit out a year. Now, Detroit Renaissance could say that transfers for athletic reasons. So, is that athletically motivated? And they're forced to sit out a year.
Well, I don't know how they could say it wasn't because they've already gone to the media, right? They're already airing their
grievances out in the media.
Correct. So if you're saying, and it's because this coach is gone, I'm not playing for him. I'm going to transfer for academic reasons. That won't hold muster, dude.
No, it's not going to hold muster at all. And I think,
I have a feeling they're going to stick together. Maybe this is leveraged by the team to see if the district will get the coach back in there. But if not, I think they'll stay. You might lose a couple, but I have a feeling I think they'll stay together.
But
the whole thing is to win, right? You want to win.
What Stroger has done has virtually cost 2 basketball coaches their jobs. One at River Rouge and the other one at Detroit Renaissance, their old school.
Well,
old school.
I don't know if she cost them 2 jobs. One for sure, right? Because it was her evaluation that sent the one guy packing, right?
But River Rouge fired their coach.
But why?
Because I'm not sure why. We don't know why they fired him.
If there's some, what do you say?
Romantic
there could be a relationship going on. Oh, man.
That was rumored.
If that's the rumor, then then the coach at River Rouge has got a problem, or the former coach at River Rouge, because they don't have to keep him around either. No. I don't know if she's the problem for River Rouge being, coach to being let go. But what a soap opera.
That is a mess.
And when's first day of practice?
That's gonna be at the later in the month. I mean, the season
just
starts
around
next
the
month.
corner.
It's just around the corner.
Yeah. I mean, they're already getting together and doing preseason workouts. I mean, geez Louise.
That is a mess down there. But, the principal does have the discretion to do it.
Yes,
because it is their building.
Correct.
And, at the end of the day, she makes the decisions over there.
Yeah,
she makes the decisions.
And they have to live with those decisions.
And they have to live with those decisions.
Yeah.
So.
You have any predictions?
I think that. No.
There's too many variables.
Too many variables in this one.
For who's going to coach the team, I have no clue.
No, we don't
But I
know.
have a feeling the players, it's like, if you have a team and you're that close and you're that good, to say, yeah, we're going to blow it up, that might be a threat they use to try to get the administration to come around again.
Come around again, yeah.
But to have those, they still can play together. Whoever's coming in is not going to be their adversary. Right? It's someone that's going to come in and just try to right the
ship.
Yeah, they right the ship. Yeah, good. I was going to say bicycle, but yeah, ship's the proper one. But, if they can right the ship and just get playing, I think this all goes away, especially if they're as good as they say and predicted. As a player who's had multiple coaches, you don't want to, you want to hang with your friends. You want to hang with the guys that are solid. It's like the coaches just kind of, sometimes they come, sometimes they go.
Yeah.
Right? But I'd say keep the gang together, play, go win this thing. That you could really rally around it besides spread them to the 4 wins. I'm like, what are you going to win? And transfer to Clarkston?
I think that route's over.
Well, yeah, I don't think Clarkson will be touching anybody for a while, but it's one of those things.
Clarkson's still gonna be good though.
They're gonna be good. I'm stuck on the transfer side of things,
right?
But I don't know. I
can't
see them busting up the.
Is a mess. That
completely.
whole thing down there is a absolute mess.
Yes.
And I said earlier, the team that benefits from this is Oak Park because of
if they split them up.
Yeah, if they split them up.
Yeah.
Oak Park's gonna be a key player in that.
Correct.
Key player. I mean, I'm not in the but as a team, I think Oak Park will rise up, and I think Detroit Renaissance takes a huge tumble.
Oh yeah.
Look at it. So, but UD Jesuit now has to be the favorite in that district now, going forward. When we talk about that district, come later in the early next year. So we'll see what happens on that situation going forward.
Glad you're out front on this there, Sam.
We're keeping an eye on it. Of course, you can follow Detroit News, Detroit Free Press. I did update my district blog from June.
Remind everybody your blog again, because it's changed.
Termina at blogspot.com. The thing that changed is the Dragon Insider. That's for like Orion Sports.
Yep. So, keep reminding everybody because there were some changes.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens going forward. And that we'll keep an eye on that Detroit Renaissance situation as it unfolds. Okay, now we're going to take a break here. We're going to talk some football here. Your standouts from week 6 here on Oaa Now.
Music, weather, sports, and you.
Me?
Yes, you. You're listening to The Local Voice.
This is Lake Orion's own The Local Voice. Call ONTV and get on air 248-393-1060. Let your voice be heard. Internet radio for all. Call ONTV and get on air.
Welcome back to Oaa Now. I'm Sammy Terramina here with Ian Locke.
Hey, Sam.
We got a lot of football to talk about this week. Some like head scratchers, a lot of blowouts.
But some teams keep rolling.
Some teams keep rolling. Some teams I'm like about ready to have like a seizure on.
Really?
Probably the biggest seizure for me this week was I know there were some close games. I do want to get your thoughts on this. For me, the biggest seizure game for me was Royal Oak and North Farmington. Now, 2 weeks.
Did you have predictions for them?
Couple weeks ago, I said about North Farmington's football team.
Yes.
I made a huge rant about this.
Yes.
And the Raiders took on Royal Oak. I think it was their homecoming.
Oh, yeah.
And Royal Oak was a young, very young football team.
Is.
And North Farmington's got a ton of experience back. Now, yes, their defense has played much better. But where has their offense gone? Now North Farmington's at 3-3 after losing 14-7 to Royal Oak. Royal Oak is not a good football team for starters. And it was at home on the homecoming, and North Farmington just lets them. North Farmington, they can't score. They can't score. And their defense played well in that game.
Whose defense?
North Farmington. North Farmington, not Farmington.
North Farmington.
Farmington, we'll talk in a minute. Are you buying Farmington's hype? We'll talk about that in a minute. But North Farmington, I thought personally would be a team that would turn the corner. They sit 3-3.
Yeah.
Got a tough schedule. Still got to play out. They got to play Avondale 3 weeks. They got Macomb Lutheran North. And then this week they got the Farmington Cup. Royal Oak, for them, their whole season rests on this game with Avondale coming up.
Starting to look like it, doesn't it?
Because Royal Oak, I think, is going to win their next 2 games.
Really?
Against Detroit Edison and Monroe Jefferson.
So you're saying missed opportunity.
If Royal Oak does not win this game against Avondale, their season's done. Because they're not getting at 5-4. Because their schedule is not the greatest. Royal Oak, and for North Farmington, for me, they blew their chance. They blew their chance at the playoffs. Now, I
maybe they surprise you.
If they upset Farmington,
you never know. Hey,
so be it. But if they can upset
rivalry, trophy game,
yeah, Farmington Cup, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm Bob Gather right now, where's your offense gone? Where is it gone?
What are they looking scoring per game so far?
Not good. Not good. But Farmington's my next team I want to talk about. Now they played a really good Madison Heights Madison team.
Okay.
They were lit up by Austin Brown, who went off for I believe he had 2 touchdowns in that game, ran in for 2. and a 28-6 win for them. Now, Farmington was out Donovan King, their top interior lineman. He was out with an injury. Some parts of me wants to give Corey Soroch a pass for what happened, but
You don't
others
give many
say
passes.
No. Farmington. I read M Live's top surprising teams.
Yeah.
And Farmington was on there because they're 5-1 start. So I'm saying to myself,
So they've clinched the playoff spot, or do you think?
they're close.
Okay.
They're 5-1. So they do have a win against Avondale. They do have wins against Avondale and Ferndale. Those are 2 big wins for them. I want to see how this team performs against Seaholm.
Yeah.
Particular, because I think Seaholm's much better than Farmington.
Home or away?
That game will be in the Maple Forest.
Okay.
So Farmington has a lot to prove to me the eyeball test going forward. Now, when I look at where Farmington is at for possible playoffs, they're likely sitting at Division III.
Okay.
And Snooze TV does a really good job at accurate playoff projections.
Ooh.
And if you ever go on his site, snoozetv.com, great site. He's got Farmington with Harrison. Harrison's playing a much tougher schedule than Farmington. He's got Avondale in there too. But do you think Farmington is a team that can make some noise upcoming postseason?
It's always difficult to predict. I've learned my lesson sitting here with you, Sam, to go temper my predictions because you never know what's going to happen.
I don't buy Farmington's offense
at all.
No.
Even at 5-1.
Even at 5-1, and it's because
maybe it's one of those teams that they're just gritty and they find that way to win. They just kind of
the strength of
weasel in there.
Farmington's team is their defense.
Yeah,
obviously.
But hey, would we talk about defenses? That's how you win champions. Offense will get you there sometimes, but defense will win you the championships.
Mm-hmm. And for Farmington, they did not look good against Austin Brown at all. And Austin Brown's, I believe, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Michigan. And it was going to be a tough chore for them.
Are they going to find another quality caliber player like that on their schedule moving forward?
Besides the fact they still got to play Harrison and they got to play Seaholm. Those are going to be 2 tough ones for them.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Farmington gets in at 6-3. It would not surprise me if they go 6-3.
You 6 wins, you should get in.
Yeah, if you get 6 the automatic qualifier.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be some 5-4 teams. Like
for
Royal Oak.
You don't think they're up there for 5-4 to get in?
Royal Oak or Farmington?
Farmington.
I think Farmington's gonna get 6 wins anyway.
Okay.
But Royal Oak,
yeah.
Even if they go 5-4, Royal Oak will not get in. Royal Oak will not get in.
But what a big win for Royal Oak.
If they can pull it off against Avondale.
Yeah.
Avondale found their offense last week. Smoked Berkeley 53-0.
Whoa.
So.
Home or away?
That was in Auburn Hills. Now Royal Oak's got to go to Auburn Hills. For Royal Oak and Ray McMahon, put everything on the line in this game.
Common opponent. Let's see what happens.
They got to put everything on the line in this game.
Absolutely.
Now, there's several teams I think can get in at 5-4. Who I think there's several who I believe can get in at 5-4. I'm gonna take Adams is an interesting one to keep an eye on because they sit at 3-3. They came off a really tough 24-20 loss to West Bloomfield. Now they sit at 3-3, and looking at their schedule.
Yeah, who do they have? Because
they have to play Harrison this week in Farmington. Then they got to play Southfield Arts Tech at home, and then they got to close out with Stony Creek. If Adams were to go 5-4, they're going to be really, really
it's going to be on the bubble.
They're really going to be on the bubble.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, from what we've seen, if the eyeball test, dude, that's going to be close.
With Adams, though, the problem I have is they're non-conference. The teams they played, Adams and Stony Creek are right now combined 2-10.
Oh boy.
So, and you look at a Lake Orion who, if let's say if they go 5-4, I think Lake Orion gets in over
Really?
even at 5-4 because of the schedule they played. But Adams, we'll talk Lake Orion in a minute. But Adams, this is a team. They have a big win against Oxford, which is huge for them. But when you look at Adams, I think this is a much bigger game for Adams when they play Harrison on Friday night in Farmington Hills than people think. Because if Adams can beat Harrison, I think they can win out.
Really?
I mean, we could talk. We're going to talk about Lake Orion and South Harrison Tech in a minute. But
When did I miss Oxford losing?
they lost last week to Adams.
So I was out of town. I missed all that
Not
stuff.
last week, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Jeez.
Um,
Too busy paying attention across the country.
but for Adams,
Yeah, that's.
I think Adams right now has to win out for them to get in the postseason because
6 wins. Automatic qualifier.
Rochester and Stony Creek are not going to help this team. They're not going to help them. If they can win over Harrison, I think that's the big one for them. They have to get that game.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Lake Orion here. Lake Orion's a team. They're at 3-3. They got a big one, Bloomfield Hills, coming up. They had a big win against South Harrison Tech, 20-12, where they were trailing 12-7 into the fourth quarter.
Got to give them confidence on the road. Come back, win.
Mm-hmm. Now let's look at Lake Orion's schedule. You got Bloomfield Hills this week.
Homecoming.
I think that should be a win for them. Then you got Clarkston. And then you got to go to Monroe.
What's that rumbling sound? Clarkston rolling towards Ford
Here's
Field.
what I think. Here's what I think. Now people ask me, does Lake Orion stand a chance against Clarkston? And I think they do.
Really?
Because now, yes, the strength of Clarkson's going to be up front.
Yes.
Because of Rocco Splinter, you have Garrett Dillinger, and then you have Ben Haas there. And Clarkston, have you noticed with them, if they have not been pressured being played from behind yet.
No.
They have literally not. Now, West Bloomfield had them a couple times. But Clarkston, if you get them behind for a little while, then we're going to see what type of team they really are.
But the key is you got to get them behind.
Yeah, that's the key. Now, on Lake Orion's case, I don't think Blaze Lowers played really well the last few weeks.
So there's room for improvement.
There is room for improvement for him. I think he's got to step his game up a little bit more. Defensively, in their 3 wins, Lake Orion's only averaged allowed 16 points.
Which is a big improvement for them.
I think there's still room for more improvement.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think there's still room for improvement.
So is it the deep ball still? The problems with that, or big plays, or penalties, or what?
Big plays have been a problem for them.
Penalties in the early season were really hampering that.
But
team.
let's look at, and of course, they do have to play at Monroe. Monroe's 5-1. Looked really good against Temperance Bedford. Got a really good quarterback in Malik Litton, who's really good. Very athletic. I'm curious. And Monroe's got a big offensive line who's pretty good. And Monroe right now sits 5-1. Only loss was to Jackson. They still have to play. I know they still got some games they got to play. They got to play Saline, which is going to be a really interesting game.
Yeah. Always tough.
But I think Lake Orion's got a chance in that one because I think the OAA is a much tougher conference than the SEC because of the teams they played. And if Lake Orion, if there was a team that I would think that would have the best shot of getting at 5-4, it's Lake Orion. Because look at the teams right now currently. Lapeer sits undefeated right now.
Yeah.
They just went and rolled Grand Blanc. And then you look at...
Really? Wow.
Yep, Oxford, 4-2 team right now. Then, of course, you look at... And then you have big wins against Adams. That's a huge win for them, right now. And, of course, beating South Harrison Tech last week was huge for them.
Big win.
Big win for them. And, of course, having to play West Bloomfield, who's really good. course, having to play Clarkson. That is not an easy schedule like Orion has played. Not an easy.
And against those tougher teams, they've shown improvements along the way, right? I mean,
they have.
You get the L, but they're also scoring points now.
Mm-hmm.
And, the improvement is there. You're watching them get better and better.
But if that's a team that's 5-4, the best, the best 5-4 team out of the whole OA bunch who has the greatest chance getting into Lake Orion.
Mm.
I want to talk Southfield Arts and Tech, though.
Yeah, what?
This is a team that had...
We had some expectations for them, didn't we?
Well, here's the thing. They're on D-Zone, D1 Freak, those social media sites hyping their season up. Does the thing now... I have to use the word overrated with Southfield. I have to, because...
So they're currently sitting where?
They are 2-4 and has a brutal schedule to close the year out. They got West Bloomfield this week in the Swamp.
Tough. Always tough out there.
They got to go to Adams. And they close out the year at River Rouge, who just laid it on Harper Woods. And you look at Southfield's situation. I can't imagine how much pressure has to be on Tim Conley now.
Yeah.
And this has been a big problem because Southfield's got a lot of athletes, a lot of D1 kids, but they have not been able to get the job done.
You think they'll run the table and get their 5th win?
I don't see them beating West Bloomfield. I don't see them beating River Rouge.
Yeah.
I don't see them beating Adams. I see 2-7 written all over it. I'm not being mean here.
Taking a shutout to close it, eh?
But there's going to be a lot of people down there really upset.
Yeah.
Because of everything that is...
Fans usually get grumpy when they're
losing.
2 wins.
When they're losing.
Yeah.
But that Lake Orion Southfield game was huge for both teams.
Yeah.
Both teams needed that game. Now, Southfield could say, we're young. You still got athletes. You still got D1 talent.
But comment on Lake Orion. They showed some grit.
They did.
Coming down, they were behind.
And they came back and won.
Yeah. And a second half comeback, correct?
Yeah. They came back and won. So that's a big credit to John Blackstock and his team. Followed a really good game plan.
Said it was conservative, a little different than they've done in the past.
Different they've done in the past, but big win for them. Big win for them. Lake Orion right now sits in a really good spot right now. Whereas with Southfield,
they're in a hole.
I can't imagine how much pressure is on Tim Conley now.
Yeah.
There has to be a ton of pressure. Because now you're likely going to have people complain where the direction of the program is. Southfield has not made the playoff. They didn't make the playoffs last year, and now they've regressed, it looks like, a little bit when you look at the record.
Yeah.
And
what did they finish last year?
They were 4-5 last year.
Okay. So you can see where the expectations were. You were just
because
a couple games off.
You have some D1. You have D1 talent on that team, and all 4 of those losses were to teams that were north of M24.
Mm.
When you look at Clarkston,
yeah.
You look at Lake Orion, you look at Oxford, and you look at Davison. Those 4 teams. Those 4 teams, gave Southfield their 4 losses.
Yeah.
Now you got to question Conley's scheduling because you're playing River Rouge early. You're playing River Rouge to close out the year.
Yeah, late.
You are playing Davison.
Yeah.
Do you think playing a team that is not as strong as you are, and does it help you with confidence? Or playing tough, risking basically your whole season early on? Because I think with Southfield, they have really bitten it. And I think it's the same thing with Lake Orion. They played a tough week 1 matchup. And, it came back and haunted them. But if you win that game, that's huge for you.
Yeah.
But if you don't win it, then you're in a hole. So,
well, we've had this debate for a year.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it. Goes back to basketball, and who do you schedule in the preseason? Would you want to have a mix? Do you get some confidence beating up on a patsy? Do you find a middle of the road team to really challenge your team, or do you go up against a big dog, expecting potentially to lose, but maybe build some character on your team? Right? Get some grizzled, get some calluses.
I think you need both. I really do.
I do too. You don't want to be too heavy, and because it can rattle the psyche. Again, these are kids, right? You're talking 14 to 18-year-old kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know how they're going to react to a big old loss, right?
No.
Unless the coach is the best to determine, he reads the room. He knows what his room is. He knows how these guys are. But to have, those are tough early season and late season matchups.
Soft.
But they picked it.
Yeah.
That's what they decided to do, and they had high expectations.
But with Southfield now
it's coming off the rails a little.
It's hard for me to figure out with this team because you see like D1 Freak there. You see, hyping Southfield up. Is it for college reasons? I don't know.
Well,
but
could be just having fun. This is supposed to be fun. High school football's fun, dude. Yeah, I know we've talked about it too. Talking smack and said, but you better be able to back it up.
And Southfield's done a lot of talk, but they have not backed it up. They have not.
And you got to live with that.
Yeah. You have to.
It's a learning experience here, a learning opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You open your mouth, you better be able to back it up.
Yep.
And if you don't, you better do it next time.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I think when I look at teams that sent a statement this week, Ferndale is back. And they are taking names right now. Ever since their big win against Avondale, I think that literally saved their season. They have been beating teams lately. They beat Detroit Country Day, and then they laid a whooping at Hazel Park.
Wow.
55-0.
Wow.
And this week, they got Pontiac. At Wisner, and Pontiac was whooped 58-8 by Seaholm.
Oh, boy. The Phoenix in trouble.
It's hard to explain. A lot of other games that were blowouts.
Let's say Ferndale, where are they sitting right now?
Ferndale right now sits at 4-2.
4-2 on their way to 5-2?
They'll be 5-2. They got Redford Thurston to close out the year. That's going to be a tough game for them.
Guys usually throw a tough team out there. Good product.
But Ferndale right now, I love the direction Eric Royal's taking this team. He's got that team back.
For comparison's sake, what were they a year ago?
They were a 8-1 team.
Yeah. So he's got them rolling and got them believing.
Yeah. But, I feel bad for them because they're in Division II for playoffs.
Wow. Well, maybe they can hang.
Other scores around the league last week, Farmington Hills Harrison Rochester. That was a great game over there. 27-24.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That was an upset trap waiting to happen. I thought it could possibly happen, an upset. Rochester is much better than the record indicates. They are much better.
Close games.
But Rochester is much better than the record indicates. They've lost 3 games by a combined 7 points or less.
That's so hard to deal with.
Including Harrison and Groves.
Yeah.
This week, Rochester has to go to Night Valley to take on Oak Park.
Could they?
It's possible.
I read your mind, Sammy.
It's possible. Oak Park.
Well, that's one to watch then. Let's see what happens.
That is one game to watch. I think Rochester is going to be competitive with Oak Park. I think they will be. But do I think they have enough in the tank? No. Because I think Oak Park Oak Park.
They're on a mission.
They had no problem with Troy winning 26-9 at Troy. And of course, we had a couple blowouts. Of course, Oxford, Stony Creek was 42-6. Groves and Athens was 42-6. Clarkston, no problem with Bloomfield Hills, 55-7.
Wow. Home or away?
That was at Bloomfield Hills.
Wow.
I mean,
at this point, you just stop going. I'm shocked. We're not anymore.
no, we're not anymore with.
They're a machine.
We're
they,
not
They
anymore.
reload. They do their thing.
Well, Clarkston, you know what I mean? I think with them is they've got all their top kids up on varsity. I mean, I've looked at the sub-varsity records and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not real high on them. But when you look at Clarkston, I mean, they're right now starting to roll.
Yep.
I mean, West Bloomfield, you know, they didn't look good last week against Adams. Now, Adams is better than what the record indicates. So,
And that was a tight one.
and it was. So, what games are you looking forward to week 7?
Well, the Oak Park matchup.
Rochester game?
Yeah, that's you've intrigued me.
Adams Harrison's a big one, obviously.
Yeah, I'm always looking at Harrison just because it's the final hurrah for those guys, and any win for them, it puts a smile on my face. I like to go out with those guys with the W.
I want to get your thoughts on Oxford and Clarkston. That's going to be an interesting one.
So Oxford, I think I said at the beginning of the season after we saw them against Lake Orion, we're like, whoa, this is a different team. This is a different look. This is a team that has some tough metal to them, and it's proven out this season. And I'm excited. I've been waiting for the Oxford-Clarkson matchup. This should be fun. Home or away there, Sam?
It is at Clarkston.
All right, so might be a ding there. Usually what do they say? Usually a 7-point swing on a football if you're playing at home. I would almost say maybe it's 14 for Clarkston playing at home.
Do you think Oxford can go into Clarkston and possibly pull it off?
Possibly. But is it going to happen? I don't think so. I think they'll give them a run for the money. I shouldn't be a blowout.
The weather forecast is calling for rain.
Rain, I know. So how are the running games for both teams?
We know about Oxford.
Yes.
We know about Clarkston. Of
Yeah.
course, Clarkston's got a 2-headed running back monster.
Yep.
And Jake Honsetter and Jake Billette.
And rain, I'm trying to think if it's just a steady rain pretty much. I think it's late in the afternoon, so it's not going to be an all-day soaker. But if they're at Clarkston, the field conditions are turf.
Yep.
So it might just be slippery, and you're going to watch the passing game.
All the fields in the OA are turf fields now.
Okay. So it's, usually you'd say, hey, this is an old slobber knocker. You got the old mud. Let's go. We've seen that on the road year after year. I love those games.
You know what's an interesting game for me this week?
Yeah.
And I think nobody's ever talking about this. But Stony Creek and Troy Athens is a very interesting game for me. Here's why. Troy Athens since 2016, their record is 1-23.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Stony Creek, not much better. But they've had 2 years under Bob Lancey, and that was proven to be disastrous.
Yeah. Didn't work out real well.
No. But that game's intriguing to me because I think that's going to be a game where it's going to be a close game. Whoever wins is going to be happy for about 1 week. But I think that's a game I'm watching.
Anytime you are struggling and you have an opponent you go, we have a shot at, you raise your expectations, you raise your energy level, and you go at it.
That's why I'm saying.
Is it going to pay dividends?
We don't know.
I don't know.
But that's a game I'm watching for sure. Is Stony Creek and Troy Athens.
And who's where and where?
That's at Stony Creek.
Okay.
So that's going to be a game that it's going to be very interesting to watch and see where that is. Of course, some other games around the area. We mentioned Royal Oak Avondale. That's Royal Oak's whole season on the line there.
Any games that could get guys clinched or teams clinched? If they're at 5 or you get to 6 wins.
I think West Bloomfield is going to destroy Southfield Arts Tech. I think that, Southfield, they're already in disarray, considering what's been going on with them. Going to the swamp. It's West Bloomfield's homecoming. I mean, Southfield, last year gave up 62 at home to West Bloomfield. So
Wow.
I think West Bloomfield's going to clinch easily this week. Groves right now they sit at 4-2, but I think it's going to be interesting with
Tough call.
Groves.
Yeah.
Groves plays Troy this week. I don't think they're going to have a problem with Troy.
No.
But I think that but Groves still has to play their final 2 games. They play Harrison, and then they got to play Seaholm to close out the year. Those are going to be 2 non-easy games for them. Avondale, I think they're 4-2 right now. I think they're looking good right now. Harrison, of course, Harrison, I know they sit at 5-1. They have a chance to clinch to beat Adams.
Yeah. Now you said Harrison. What would they be in the playoffs competing as?
Division 3. I thought they'd be Division 4, but instead, they're going to be Division 3.
And they were that last year as
They
well?
were in the Division 3 final last year when they lost to Muskegon.
Yeah.
Farmington, we talked about. They have a chance to clinch to beat North Farmington for the Farmington Cup. Ferndale sits 4-2, but I think they have a good shot at clinching. Seaholm, they're 5-1. They should have no problem this week getting in the postseason. And, those are the teams that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Seaholm, I think, is going to get in this week, and I think West Bloomfield is going to get in this week.
Yeah.
I don't know about Harrison and Adams, though. I think Adams got a great shot pulling off against Harrison.
Should be a fun game.
Should be a really good game.
Yeah. Trying to think of what games. Clarkston, I believe they record their games.
On Independence?
Yep.
I think so.
So if you're interested in checking out that game, I don't know if they carry it live on NFHS or MHSA. I don't think they do. But check. I would say check them out. Also, our game here, Lake Orion.
Oxford OCTV.
That's
you got CMN TV over there.
Yep, there's a lot of games out there. I encourage you to check out your community media centers around the OAA and check out those games. They throw them up on YouTube or they have a video on demand, usually on their website. So if you want to see what we're talking about directly, visit your local community media center's website and take a gander.
We'll see what happens going
Yeah,
forward.
and we'll even see your your handiwork at the volleyball matches.
Yep. Speaking of volleyball, let's talk volleyball when we go on our commercial break here.
Okay.
Let's take a break here. We'll talk volleyball here on Oaa Now. Hey, I'm Sammy Tiramini here. Catch us on Oaa Now here on the Local Voice. We're covering OA high school sports from Oxford to Ferndale to Farmington to Troy. Catch us on Oaa Now on the Local Voice. Welcome back to Oaa Now here. I'm Sammy Tiramini here with Ian here.
Hey, wrapping it up.
Wrapping it up. We got some volleyball a little bit to talk about.
Yes, some big games.
The big one here, I think the white is still in play with Athens and West Bloomfield. I think those are 2 top teams that's mentioned. On the blue, I think it's North Farmington. But the red, of course, is probably the most interesting one because I think Clarkston is now officially out of the league race now because they've lost 2 games.
Whoa.
They lost to Stony Creek and they lost to Lake Orion last week. The big one I think it sets up for is Tuesday night between Lake Orion and Stony Creek. That's going to be, I think, the game that likely determine who wins the red.
Yep. And
both teams are loaded.
Yes, and I don't even want to say it. I'm not even going to say it. The I word has injuries, has stayed away.
No, it is not.
No. Oh.
Sydney Smith still out with ankle injury for Lake Orion.
Oh, no.
That's the problem.
But they got a deep bench there, dude.
Yes, they do. I mean,
any predictions you got to pick?
Me, it's hard for me to pick against Coach Ross Talbot, and because he was at Lake Orion.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard for me to pick against Tony
Gavarda,
who currently coaches.
You think this one's going the distance?
I think it's going 5 games.
Yeah.
Last year, Stony Creek won over Lake Orion. Now, Lake Orion was a depleted team last year. I think it's going to go 5 games. I think Lake Orion takes this one.
Okay.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, that game will be recorded by the Lake Orion High School video students and should be
I will
available
personally
in a
be
couple
in attendance in that game.
Yeah.
I will personally be there tonight.
Yeah, so
we'll see what
you
happens.
want to see that action, that'll be also on ONTV.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens in
Yeah.
that one. I still think when I look at the league, Troy's still going to be there. You still got Adams. You got it's going to
So
be
you
tough.
really think Clarkson's out?
Yes, because they've lost 2 league games to Stony Creek and Lake Orion. Now, I think they're going to get ready for districts, and we know Clarkson's very dangerous in districts.
Postseason,
Postseason, it's going to be very. I think
they always find that postseason mojo. I don't know.
And we know Kelly Penner very well. We know what she does.
Correct.
She's very capable at doing what she knows, what she's got to do.
Yeah.
So
And around districts and things, we're going to try to at least cover that as well, the best we can. Do you know where districts are?
Waterford Kettering.
Okay. So, Kettering.
It's at Waterford Kettering.
That odd setup over there, which is a bummer.
Very odd setup. But there is a way to get cameras in there.
There is. I've done it before over the years down in Kettering, and we'll do the best we can so all our volleyball fanatics can see districts in action.
I mean, if yours truly can even call the action, that'd be great.
I have a feeling that may be the case.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great.
That, folks, was somebody lobbying.
Somebody lobbying.
But yeah, it's but that not to get off track, but that's what the local voice and ONTV is for, right?
Yes.
Give people an opportunity to do something they don't get a usual daily thing to do. Call a volleyball match. Have a podcast like you, Sam. You're the old grizzled veteran here at ONTV.
I appreciate
you
it.
and your brother, and we love having you guys in, and and other people just taking a stab at it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's great content, good stuff, a lot of fun. The main thing is it's fun.
It is.
Right? We have a good time doing
it is. My final thoughts this week before we go off the air. We'll see what happens. Of course, we're getting really close. Soccer districts are starting to get close nearby really soon. A couple weeks, I will have a preview of soccer districts on my blog at Sammy@blogspot.com in a couple weeks. We'll see what happens going forward there. I will have my basketball top 10, top 23.
It's coming.
It's coming. Basketball coming up real soon. So I'm Sammy Termina here. I'm signing off here. Take care, everybody, and see y'all soon.
See you, Sam. Oaa Now is produced by Sammy Termina, and the views on this show are his and his alone. If you'd like to make your own podcast here at Orion Neighborhood Television, give us a call at 248-393-1060. Check out our webpage at orionontv.org for program schedules that best fit your viewing schedule. And for more information, we'll see you next week on Oaa Now. See ya!